This is Dejobnik, your command post for clarity and perspective.
Good afternoon. I'm Israeli government spokesman Avi Hyman. This is day 108 of the October 7th war. I will begin today's briefing with the latest figures. Since our last update, the IDF announced that 3 more soldiers have been killed in battle. Staff Sergeant Ori Jerby and Sergeant First Class Reserves Uriel Aviad Silberman. In addition, the death of Sergeant Shai Levinson was confirmed. Sergeant Levinson was killed on the 7th of October, after which Hamas terrorists took him to Gaza, where his body is being cynically held as a bargaining chip by Hamas. The losses of Ori, Aviad, and Shai bring the total IDF losses since October 7th up to 532. The State of Israel extends condolences to their families in their time of grief. Regarding the Israeli hostages being held in Gaza, so far we have brought 110 home, and we're working to bring them all home. This is a key goal of the war. As we've already demonstrated, continued military pressure is a necessary condition to achieving it. There are still 136 Israelis being held by Hamas in their terror dungeons, including 4 Israelis held by Hamas prior to October 7th. Of the remaining 132 abducted as part of the October 7th massacre, 113 are men, and 19 are women, and 2 are children under the age of 5. The Bibas siblings, 4-year-old Ariel and Kfir, who just turned 1. Last night, my Prime Minister reiterated his commitment to continuing the war on all fronts. Hamas's ludicrous demand that the IDF forces fully withdraw from Gaza and that we release the Hamas Nukba rapists and murderers who committed the atrocities of October 7th in exchange for the release of our hostages. And if that's not enough, we were told that we would also have to establish a Palestinian state. This would simply be capitulation to Hamas, framed as a peace deal. It only emphasizes just how important it is that we achieve a full victory in this war. There can be no path toward victory until Hamas is fully destroyed. Moving to an operational update. In Gaza, the IDF discovered a series of tunnels that it confirmed had previously held approximately 20 Israeli hostages, releasing footage of the subhuman conditions Hamas held them in. It was in one of these tunnels that the IDF found drawings sketched by a 5-year-old, Emilia Aloni. Thankfully, Emilia is now at home with her family. But it's still heartbreaking to see the drawings of a 5-year-old deep under Gaza. Pictures of houses, trees, and freedom. The IDF eliminated a number of terrorists and booby traps that they encountered. One tunnel alone was 830 meters long and about 20 meters below ground. The elaborate Hamas terror tunnel system in Gaza is larger than the London Underground and built over the past 16 years. It's been constructed at great expense to the international community and at the expense of the people of Gaza. Billions of dollars funneled into building underground tunnels. I'll remind you that Israel moved every one of our citizens out of the Gaza Strip in 2005. The people of Gaza could have created the Miami of the Middle East. Instead, they built the largest subterranean terror infrastructure on earth, deep underneath homes, mosques, schools, hospitals, and UN facilities. Moving to the northern arena, Hezbollah continues its attacks, firing on civilian areas using guided anti-tank weapons. This aggression prevents tens of thousands of residents who are now displaced from returning home. In response to continued attacks, the Israeli Air Force carried out 2 series of strikes on Hezbollah infrastructure in Merkaba. Hezbollah's aggression will not be tolerated. Our message is clear. Cease your attacks immediately or expect decisive military action. Israel's borders will be secured. Our citizens must be able to return home. And now for a Govt update. Finally, regarding the humanitarian aid going into Gaza. This morning, Govt provided a detailed briefing regarding the medical aid for the people of Gaza. I'll share a few of the key facts and figures for your reference. Israel, from the beginning of the war, made it clear that this is a war against Hamas, not the people of Gaza. Israel has seen to it that the people of Gaza receive the medical supplies that they need, facilitating delivery of over 1,100 trucks carrying over 13,000 tons of medical supplies. Enough polio and rubella vaccines have been delivered to cover 2.5 million people. Israel has coordinated the evacuation of 1,000 people to receive life-saving medical treatment in countries such as the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, and Turkey. Israel has promoted the establishment of field hospitals in the Strip. Currently, there are 6 active field hospitals, and we're working with international partners to increase that number. These hospitals provide an additional 550 beds in addition to the 12 existing permanent Gazan hospitals. Thank you, and I'll take your questions.
The first question is from Joel Pollack with Breitbart News. War Cabinet member Gadi Eisenkot recently said that Israel's leaders were, quote, lying to themselves about being able to rescue the hostages through military operations. Is the Israeli government mistaken in believing hostages can be rescued through force?
Well, Joel, I'll tell you that there's a precedent for this. There's a precedent for bringing hostages home. As I've just said, we've brought home 110 Israeli hostages from the clutches of Hamas. The way that we did that is we brought Hamas down to their knees so that they were begging, please, please, can we have respite? Please, can we have some kind of a break, cessation of the violence temporarily? That's what brought 110 hostages home. And we believe, certainly my Prime Minister and the government believe, that the only way to get Hamas to the table, to reach any type of serious deal on releasing the hostages would be through military pressure. They understand force, force, and force.
The next question is from Melanie Lidman with Associated Press. Can you comment on the Philadelphia corridor? What does Israel hope will happen with this area in the immediate term and also after the war? And what is the response to the Egyptian rejection of Israeli troops entering the area?
Melanie, I'll refer you to the Prime Minister's comments last night, in which he said that Israel will have to have security control over the full area, the details of which will be worked out after the day after Hamas. But again, Israel's security is going to have to come first. And we know that the Philadelphia corridor historically was used to smuggle weapons and munitions that have gone on to kill Israeli men, women, and children. And we cannot allow a situation by which Hamas or any other extremists can endanger Israeli children as they sleep in their beds at night.
The next question is from Hannah Julian with the Jewish Press. Hamas was to receive 1,000 boxes of medication for each single box delivered to the hostages with medical conditions. Do you have the numbers on the amount of medication delivered to Gaza, by whom, and evidence that it reached the hostages as promised?
So for more information on the specifics of the medicine that has been transferred, I would refer you to Govt. I was just giving you a snippet of the statements that they made earlier. But I want to be specific on that because you're asking for specific numbers. So please speak to Govt.
The next question is from David Isaac with JNS. Does the PMO have a comment on the astonishing Hamas report released on Sunday that it did not harm women, children, and the elderly on October 7?
My comment would be that Hamas is only fooling themselves, if anyone at all. We didn't start this war, we didn't want this war, but we will win this war. And what we saw on October 7th was, in the words of the German Chancellor, a new type of Nazi. But the thing about the Nazis, as you know, is that the Nazis try to cover up their crimes at the end of the war, whereas Hamas were Nazis with GoPros. They were filming the whole thing. They asked victims to give them their phones so they could open up their Facebook and stream live. Hamas wasn't trying to hide anything on October 7th. Why they would think that today, 108 days later, we would believe this nonsense is absurd. But again, we know who Hamas is. We know that they butcher babies, and we know they butcher the truth.
Second question from Hannah Julian. Is Hamas still smuggling through the Philadelphia corridor? And has the IDF managed to block those tunnels yet?
I think you can appreciate that I'm not going to speak directly to operational activities. And if you want an answer to that...
Thanks for watching. If you're eager for more, click right here or dive deeper at www.dejobnik.com. Your insights matter to us. So if there's a topic you're curious about, drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and hit subscribe to stay updated with our latest content. Until next time, stay informed and inspired. This is Dejobnik signing off.